Every season has some kind of drawback to it. Winter has snow and cold, fall eventually becomes winter, and springtime feels like winter for the first half of it anyway. But summer? There's really nothing much wrong with summer except that it's tick season. Lyme disease and other tick-borne illnesses have spread across Massachusetts in the last 40 years and have become one of the nation's most commonly reported infectious diseases. We met with the experts who explained to us how not to become one of the statistics.
To me as a physician, it's important to do these outreach programs where I have an opportunity to educate the whole community about prevention, because if you prevent the illness, then you avoid all of that all of the other complicated things that come with it.
Our first recommendation is not to get a tick on you in the first place. That's the best way to avoid these tick-borne illnesses. So being really aware of the places that ticks are present. It's forested areas, brushy areas, damp, cool, shaded, leafy, leaf litter. Many of these areas are in people's backyards or nearby their homes, so they go for casual walks and they acquire ticks in that process. If a person gets bitten by a tick, they may or may not, and it's infected, they may or may not get that bullseye rash. But as the doctor who was joining me tonight was saying, only about 20% of the cases have that sign or symptom of the rash. Certainly if you get the bullseye rash, get that treated immediately. But really be on the lookout for the other symptoms, fevers, achiness, malaise, or fatigue. Those are the signs that really should send you to the doctor.
Lyme disease is an epidemic, and the proportions of this epidemic are really devastating. So the CDC estimates at least 300,000 people per year get this disease, and many of them are not diagnosed properly and they're sick for years. About 35% people, according from research of Johns Hopkins University researcher John Ockott, shows that despite early treatment, so early diagnosis and early treatment, about 35% of people will remain with chronic illness. So it's quite devastating. So it's important to remove the tick very carefully. So you want to have very fine tweezers with very skinny ends, and then catch the tick to where the mouth has attached to the skin and jiggle it very gently. You don't want to squeeze the tick at the belly, because otherwise you're injecting the contents of its belly into the bloodstream. So if you're able to do that, then you put the tick in a little container, and then you want to send it for testing. So University of Massachusetts Amherst does testing here in Mass for these ticks, so you know what illnesses it contained and you can share with your doctor. I hope that every person who attended today's lecture will practice prevention daily, especially in this area of the South Shore where there's an abundance of ticks. And I hope that will prevent many cases of Lyme disease because of that.